insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting change. That is crazy.
One of my favorite anecdotes from Bollywood is Akshay Kumar talking about Meri Biwi Ka Jawab Nahi, a movie that went through severe budget issues, so much so that the producers did not have enough funds to shoot the climax. So years later, the movie wanted to in some way or the other release the film, so it chopped up the climax with extras, and what we eventually got was a hilarious edit with abrupt jump cuts. This was quite the regular occurrence in the 90s with a lot of films, where a producer would gather funds to shoot for a particular period of time and then gather more funds to lock in more dates with actors. And many times, the producers would be unable to gather more funds, in turn leading to a movie getting shelved. One of the most notorious stories is from the Shah Rukh Khan and Raveena Tandon starrer Ye Lamhe Judai Ke, where the producers wanted to capitalize on the star status of SRK and release the film 10 years later in 2004, only to shoot several portions of the film with body doubles and stand-ins. In 2023, with the heavy corporatization, strict schedules, bound scripts, and mostly actors dedicating to one or two films in the calendar year, these situations have become less likely, as it also sets an unprofessional precedent, where the talent would not really be keen to associate with production companies in the future. The case of The Lady Killer is quite the interesting one, as one is mostly left in the dark on why the project has undergone a pump and dump scheme in the theatres. The producers released the trailer of the film on October 29th, stating that the movie would be releasing on November 3rd. This came as a surprise to everyone, a marketing campaign with the trailer dropping just 5 days before its release date. The actors did not promote the film on their individual media handles, and the film released in a handful of theatres with 1 or 2 shows, and one wondered what the hell went wrong. If sources are to be believed, the film is presumably only 80% complete. It had a stipulated budget, and the time period in which it was needed to be shot, the budget apparently was spent. The duration in which it was to be completed was impossible, and the OTT and satellite rights sale was already in place, which meant that the production company was bound to release it in a window where the theatrical release has its 4-week window before it drops digitally. The director wanted to complete the film with extra funds. One of the co-producers was presumably even arranging funds for the film, but the dates of the actors had passed, and the major financier of the film would rather release an incomplete film in theaters to oblige with the contract rather than invest more and do reshoots, already anticipating that it will be a loss-making scenario. Rather, recoup, be cash positive, and release an incomplete film versus invest more in a project where there is a lack of faith. This is, of course, again all hearsay, sources, and nothing can be confirmed because the parties themselves are not talking about it. So I was curious about this scenario, and I actually went in for the film with the one show that was available near me to actually find out what is the final product like. The things I do for you guys to keep you in the loop for the most irrelevant things. Isn't it crazy? I mean, if media outlets report that its first day collections was 38,000 rupees, then I have to really know what went wrong. So the movie is about Rajinder Joshi, played by Arjun Kapoor, who is down in the dumps and looking for a new lease of life as he shifts to Nainital. Running a pharmacy, Rajinder has aspirations of opening his own laboratory so that it can benefit the locals with tests and rapid results. But his loans keep on getting disapproved by banks. The friend advises him to make contacts in the city if he wants to dream of a brighter future. So he meets an influential man by the name of Vikram Burman, also known as Maharaj. The bedridden man is supplied oxygen tanks by Rajinder, and this in turn sparks a twisted and steamy relationship between him and Maharaj's daughter, Jhansi, played by Bhumi Pednekar. The messed up scenario that arises as more secrets are revealed forms the basic premise of The Lady Killer. The immediate question that might arise from you guys is, why is it called The Lady Killer? When you explore the film, you'll realize it's actually a loose adaptation of Macbeth. You can immediately create parallels with the adaptation skills of Vishal Bhardwaj and what he extracted in the form of Maqbool, an influential old man, the girl he is with, who more or less acts like a mistress, the outsider, and the impact she has on him psychologically to dream bigger and foreshadow a peaceful future together with her. The only solution being eliminating the king. The Lady Killer is a dark psychological thriller which entails a range of messed up characters, which could have been an exciting prospect, but barring the momentary flashes of convincing performances, especially by the likes of Bhumi Pednekar and Priyanka Bose, the movie turns out to become a snooze fest. Especially incoherent. Priyanka Bose, as a married woman having an affair with Rajinder, plays the woman holding on to the slight glimmer of happiness in her life to perfection, even though the edit doesn't help her because she just pops out of nowhere in scenes, but the performance cannot be faulted. The reason why Bhumi is a standout in the film is because she gets the desperate state of a woman bound psychologically in a jail really on point. What's insane is that Bhumi is more menacing and unpredictable in this film than she was in the horror film Durgamati. She puts her best foot forward to make a manic, twisted, absolutely messed up character convincing, and Arjun Kapoor is more or less in the same mode as his character in Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. These are the roles in which Kapoor excels, where he is mostly reactionary, is slightly stoic, and puts a tough exterior for the public but slowly crumbles as the circumstances around him get out of hand. What's hilarious, however, about this portrayal is that the moment Arjun Kapoor enters Nainital, the women of the town just can't get their hands off of him. The man has some magic and aura because all the girls ogle at him like Monica Bellucci walking on the streets in Malena. It was quite hilarious. He's a character who prefers verbatim Thokai over Shadi, so I guess he is great in that department. The characters in the movie are so twisted that they only get off of where there is pain, death or blood involved. One character states, "Maar khane mein maze aane lage hain." So if you think inflicting pain gets you going, then the universe of the Lady Killer is straight out of Kristen Gray's Dungeon. As the rumor mills were floating that the movie is only 80% complete, I started to wonder, how abrupt can the screenplay really be? But oh my god, it was very clear from the film that several portions of the film just have not been shot. Arjun in one scene propositions Bhumi with alcohol, and the movie abruptly presents the next scene where he is entering the house. What happened with them together is a mystery. The scenes are basically shot with Arjun entering the palatial home, but the scenes connecting what happened before that is left in the dark. The scenes to build their sexual chemistry and the intensity of their romance are missing. So one has to immediately assume that they are into each other because the building block scenes of how they got obsessed with one another is just missing. Thode maze aur le lo is said by Bhumi. But we are left in the dark of the actual maze. How did one arrange money? How did one arrange a car? How did one dispose a body? It's all left in the dark. You know the edit is messed up when the creator write 1 month later on the screen. While the build-up of the film is still interesting, it is when the actual crime is committed and the duo seem to have no way of escaping their sins where the movie becomes terribly boring. Bhumi and Arjun laying in a house constantly bickering with one another just gets tiring, and the third act of the film with its abrupt editing and missing pieces just doesn't generate any emotion from you. You don't care enough for the characters. You sympathize with Bhumi's circumstances, but the incessant psychologically deranged behavior just takes the shape of getting annoying after a point of time, making The Lady Killer a below average venture. With glimpses of good performances that transitions to become extremely boring by the end of it. I wouldn't be making the extra effort for that one show near your city. I mean, if there is one.